Come on in the room. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. From whatever time you are listening, I want to say good morning to you. God bless you and thank you for joining. For those of you who are watching the replay, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Charity C. Campbell, and I am a world-class millennial global leader, multi-passionate entrepreneur, academic professional. I am honey, today I am a tired academic professional. Let me tell you, I just finished presenting at an academic conference, and your girl is a little tired. Okay, we had a very busy weekend, but nonetheless, I am excited to be here. I'm also an international speaker and presenter, a mentor, and a digital OD, which is organization development and leadership specialist. Good morning to you, Ashley. Again, as I was saying, I do help millennial multi-passionate entre leaders go from clutter to clarity, improve communication skills, and harness their greatest potential without losing balance. And I'm super excited today to be with you because today we're going to be talking about rugged relationships. Rugged relationships. Yes. So do me a favor if you can, and if you will, don't be stingy. Please go ahead and share, because you never know who might need to hear this, who might need to salvage their relationships or friendships. And so go ahead and share. I greatly appreciate it. And while you're sharing, I'm going to go ahead and come on and say hello once again. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. So I do want to get started with a scripture, as we normally do with our Monday morning Let's Talk. So today's scripture is Ephesians 6:12. Ephesians 6:12. And it reads, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." And if you know old school KJV, say, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities in the heavenlies." All right. And so we thank God. The word of the Lord is blessed. So Ashley says she's all ears. And for those of you who are watching the replay, I believe you're all ears as well. Have you ever been in a friendship or a relationship where everything is it's awesome? Like, I mean, you guys get along. You might not agree with everything that each other does or says or whatever, but you have such a great camaraderie. Like, you have a really, really, really great relationship, great friendship. And then, something happens and you fight, and there's no way to reconcile. Because for one, maybe the other person is too prideful, maybe you're too prideful, or maybe you try to go back and reconcile the relationship, but it just doesn't work out. Or maybe there's a time when you have great friends or a great relationship. Maybe it's a really good relationship that you think is going to go all the way, but somehow, some way, it's always some type of argument, some type of fight, some type of just something, right? And it bothers you so much. It bothers you so much that you really want to lash out at the person. It starts to mess with you, and you actually start to develop a strong dislike. And now next thing you know, the relationship is now severed. The friendship is now severed. You see this actually in children a lot, but children are more forgiving than we are as adults. Children, they fight and they fuss with friends, and next thing you know, they're sharing their toys, or they're sharing their food, or doing whatever. They're more forgiving than we are. And one thing that I will say is that, if you want friends, you do have to be friendly. If you want friends, you have to be friendly. And I say this because I grew up with my dad. My dad is such an outgoing person. My mom is now, because they've been married for so long that now she's like that too. But so I would always be like, you are always talking to strangers. Like you meet friends everywhere you go. And, that's actually a scripture in the Bible. He that hath friends must first show himself friendly. And I realized that me picking on my dad when I was younger, that ended up being me. Like, I don't meet strangers. And you guys know I travel all over the world. I don't meet strangers. I meet family. I meet friends. And so I remember talking to the Lord and asking him, God, help me to know the right friends to pick, especially when you're an expat. Honey, when you're living overseas and you really don't know people until you get to know them. That's the thing. Like, you don't know people until you get to know them. In order for you to be able to actually make friends, that's one of the things that you're going to have to do. You are going to have to be friendly. And so being friendly when you are living overseas and when you are traveling around the world, and even actually just right in your own backyard, good morning, good evening to you, dear. Just, being friendly, even when you are right in your own backyard, sometimes it can be trying depending on what you are dealing with at that time, what you're going through at that time. And you have to realize that something that I think we actually learn as we get older is that people are dealing with stuff every single day. People are dealing with things that they may not share with you, especially if you're a new friend and they don't know the level of trust that they can have with you just yet. They could be going through something that's really serious or severe and not share that with you. And it puts them in a different type of mood and they're around you. And you're just like, why are you acting funny today? They might not be acting funny, boo. They might seriously have like some issue or something that's going on that they haven't shared with you yet because they don't know what level of trust they can have in you at the moment because you haven't really like gone through anything in your relationship or in your friendship or association. And so one thing that I've been learning about this, and especially I think for me, this really started with my students. Now, my students aren't my friends, but I had to start looking at situations differently. When the pandemic started and my students had to start learning online, here in Chinese culture, that's not something that you do. It's not a part of the traditional culture at all. And so our students were very flustered. I mean, when we first started in the pandemic, it was during Chinese New Year last year. And so they weren't on campus. They were at home. Some of them may not have had a stable internet connection. And so me being the type of teacher that I am that needs engagement and interaction, I'm sitting here like, why are you lazy? Like, why are you not doing what you're supposed to do? Not taking into consideration that they may not actually have stable internet connection at home. They may have other things going on. Someone in their family may actually have COVID. Like, you start thinking of something could be wrong. And it's the same way in our relationships. And the first thing that I would tell you is that, when you get to the point to where you really are beginning to be frustrated in your friendships or frustrated with that significant other, first of all, realize who the real culprit is. Several years ago, I preached a sermon where I was talking about how the enemy will come and he will throw arrows at you. He will like literally aim arrows at you that could come from a loved one. And if you're not spiritually inclined, if you're not aware, if your eyes are not open, okay, and you are steady thinking that, oh, you acting funny, or you got a problem, and da 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 da. Sometimes, honey, it's not even the person; it is a spirit. It is a spirit that is resting on the relationship or the friendship that wants to cause division and dissension. And you have to be wise enough to know when that is happening. And so, like I just said, let me put it back up real quick. Know who the real culprit is. Realize who the real culprit is. Is it anger? Is it the spirit of anger? Is it some type of pain or some type of hurt? Is it depression? Maybe somebody is really, they're dealing with some stuff. They got a lot of things that's on their minds. Is it loneliness or is it jealousy? Is somebody, are they being jealous of what's going on in your life? Or maybe they're jealous of a new connection you might have, or a new friend that you may have. You know how we used to do back in the day? You'd be like, you can't have another friend. You're my best friend. Is it jealousy or is it pride? Pride is, let me tell you something. Pride will kill a whole lot of relationships and friendships. Whew, big time. Okay. If, the way that you actually said, girl, you was talking good. The way that, someone could be dealing with some serious issues, right? And if you come at them in the wrong way, now I'm talking about if you were the one dealing with pride, right? If you come at them the wrong way and you are just like, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. I mean, honey, you might as well just, especially if you don't know or understand what that person is dealing with at that time, you might as well just either prepare to apologize and hope and pray that that person accepts your apology and can move on forward. Or they could simply decide, you know what, I think our friendship has run its course. Our relationship has run its course. Maybe you're not the person for me. And so you have to just understand that you have to know who the real culprit is. If it's that person, if that's that person's character or nature, meaning they are always angry, they are always prideful, they're always, always negative, then okay, that's your character. That's a part of who you are. But if it's not something that happens on the regular, if it's something that, this is a different occasion. Are you all right? Like, what's going on? What's happening? If it's something that, sporadically is happening, know that it's a spirit. It's not the person. And you have to know when to salvage your relationship. Okay. When to salvage your relationship by taking a step back, which is the next part that I want to mention. Part 2, you need to respect space and feelings. Respect space and feelings. And sometimes you just need to give people or yourself space. That's something that I have learned over the past few years, especially by being an expat. Sometimes you just really need to give people space because you also need space too. Sometimes you need to give I started a thing, I think it was back in 2018. I started a thing back in 2018 where whenever I'm dealing with a serious situation, I give myself anywhere between 72 hours to 5 days to deal with it. I mean, have all the emotions, have all the feelings, not tell myself, girl, get yourself together. No, I'm going through every single emotion that I'm supposed to experience because of this situation. And then I'm going to let it go. And depending on the situation, because sometimes it only takes me maybe about 24 hours, depending on how big or how small or how petty it is, I have to deal with it. And if I respect myself enough to give myself space to do that, like I said, I just started doing that in 2018. If I respect myself enough to do that, then I should respect others enough to give them space and time. Now, whatever happens in between that space and time, that's up to them. That's up to you. That's up to God. If you decide, okay, let's reconcile this relationship. Let's reconcile this friendship. It's worth saving. It's worth working on. Then great. But if not, during that time where you are giving space, if not, the next thing you need to do is know when to stay and when to go. Not every friendship or relationship is for you. Not every relationship or friendship is for your future. Not every relationship or friendship is something that you are supposed to hold on to. You have to know when to stay in the relationship, when to stay in the friendship, and know when to go. And if you say, well, Dr. C, I don't know when to stay and I don't know when to go. Honey, this is when you get in prayer. Because what you don't want to do is make moves out of your flesh. You don't want to stay in a situation or a relationship or a friendship longer than you're supposed to because of loyalty or because of, well, we've been friends for over a decade, or, I've been in this relationship for a long time and I just know one day, he gonna propose. One day we're gonna get married. Okay, listen, if it's meant for you to stay, stay. I will say that. Okay. If it's meant for you to stay, stay. But honey, what if what is really meant for you in your life? Okay. whether it's associates, whether it's colleagues from work, whether it's a promotion, or whether it's, friendships, or whether it's relationship. What if what God really, really, really has for you is waiting for you to walk out of something that you are no longer supposed to be in? How you gonna get it? Ashley says, stop wasting time. How are you going to get what you really deserve and what you really desire when you keep holding on to that which no longer serves a purpose in your life? I'm waiting. Answer me that. Riddle me that, Batman. I'm serious. If it is something that is supposed to be in your life, then it will be there. It will be there. And if it's something that you really do cherish and you really do appreciate, then God is going to make sure that if it's for you and if you are for them, then it's going to come back together. And prayerfully, you'll be mature enough to not have so much pride that you'll be able to reconcile. This is whether it's friendships or relationships or even a boss-employee type of relationship. All of the above. All of the above. However, again, I have to show you this again. You have to know when to stay and know when to go. Because honestly, not every friendship or relationship that you have had or that you're currently in is for you. Honey, when you got to go, you got to go. Naturally, Grace said, get out when you can. I had a long-lasting friendship that turned semi-toxic because of loyalty. Bye, sis. Still love her, but no, ma'am. And let me bring my face back up here. I'm going to leave this comment up here. Let me put my chin up because your comment is long. Girl, you got a good comment. You got a good long comment. You got to make me extend my neck. It's been a long day, y'all. It's been a long day. So I'm starting to get a little goofy. Let me hurry up and get it together. But but no, you're right. She said, get out when you can. And that's the thing. When loyalty, when you are, and I've said this, I said this a couple of weeks ago. Talking about when you are loyal to things, to people, places, and things that are no longer loyal to you, you set yourself up for hurt. You set yourself up for pain. You set yourself up for disappointment because you expect you from them. You expect you from that situation. You expect you from, you expect a promotion. You expect something that you're not going to get, right? No. No forgiveness needed. I love it. I'm so glad you typed it. But you expect you and your level of loyalty when that's not necessarily what you're going to get. And so I'm not telling you to not have any expectations or to not have any hope or to not even be friends, because once again, not try to be friendly. But once again, we have it right here. If you want friends, you got to be friendly. Someone asked me, I think it was like last year, how do I get friends? Like, how do I become friends with people? Baby, you got to be friendly. And I'm not talking about a fake friend. I mean, like the real type of friend who, you hold on, you keep your promises. You keep your promises. You show up for people. They show up for you. Sometimes friendship takes a long time to build. And then once you have it, you have to keep fostering it. That's the thing, man. You have to foster it. It's, I feel like friendships and relationships are like a beautiful garden. You have to take care of the garden. You got to water the garden. Honey, at times when something is growing off the wrong way, or maybe you got some leaves turning brown, honey, you got to chop them things off. Chop it off, and so something better can grow back. And honestly, you really have to make sure that you protect your peace. I know since last year I started, last year I was talking to you all a lot about protecting your peace, and I'm so serious. Like we allow ourselves to get so frustrated with everything, with situations, everything, simply because we won't protect our peace. You protect your peace by guarding what comes in your ear gate, also what you see, who you are around. You have to protect it. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Okay, let me just go ahead and tell you, nobody else is going to do it for you. You have to protect your peace by any means necessary. And you want to make sure that you do it in a way to where you still remain peaceful to others. You know, sometimes if someone is trying to get, rouse you to get a response, or someone's trying to, what's the word? Instigate trouble or problems or whatever, just to get a rise or a response out of you, you don't have time for that. You do not have time for that, okay? Because your dreams, your goals, all of those things are waiting on the next version of you, you know? And while you are at this current version, allowing God to upgrade you and allowing God to make you better, your dreams and your goals, they're waiting on that. They're not waiting for, the petty version of you so that you can continue to be where you are. And so you have to learn which battles are worth fighting and which ones you really, really have to let go. Once again, I cannot say it enough. Know when to stay and know when to go. That's how you protect your peace. You know when to stay and you know when to go. And if some of you, and honestly, this was not what I was going to talk about tonight. I was not going to talk about this today. And when I was, as I was finishing up my presentation for the conference, and I started looking at the people in the conference group, and I started looking at different faces, and I'm just like, oh, there's so many different types of relationships and friendships, like just associations and new connections. And then I started thinking about, how every relationship and every friendship that's ever being tested goes through a rugged period. And what is something, when we say rugged, it means rough. You go through rough patches. And when you go through rough patches, that will determine, the way you come out of it will determine how you really feel. The way you come out of a rough patch in relationships and the way you come out of a rough patch in friendships will determine whether or not you actually think that this is valuable enough to keep. Should I keep this friend? Should I keep this woman, this man? Should I keep this person in my life? And the question is, should they keep you? That's the question. How about that question? While you're sitting there wondering, should I hold on to this person? The question is, should they keep you? Should they hold on to you? Has the relationship or the friendship run its course? And if it has, Lord, help us both, or help all of us to be okay with, the disconnect. Help us to be okay with the separation. Help us to be okay with moving forward. Now, of course, I'm not talking about, if you're married, that's a totally different scenario. That's a situation, you got now, if it's an abusive relationship, please make sure that you seek professional help. I'm very, very serious about that. That's that type of rugged relationship, honey. When it's time for you to go, you got to go. Save yourself and your life. Make sure you seek help by all means. But also, there are other types of rugged relationships that are not romantic. There are friendships where you have people who are very manipulative. You have where, it's I'm your friend and we all besties and stuff until you get a new friend. No, you can't have a new friend. Well, first of all, how old are we? How old are we? Let's not be like that. And if you have someone in your life like that right now and you're an adult, and if you're trying to stay close to them for the simple fact of being loyal, I pray that you learn to be more loyal to yourself in that respect than to be loyal to someone else who is going to continue to manipulate you, right? Ashley says, unfortunately, that still happens. And that's sad. That's sad. Seriously. When you decide that you've had enough, you will walk away. Because again, you got to know when to stay and when to go. And let me tell you, you are not the only person that can be their friend. You are not the only person that can be their friend, honey. Listen, God will allow a changing of the guards to happen to where you are no longer on duty in their life. You are no longer on duty to, protect them. And of course you can still say prayers for them, but you don't have to be all of that. You don't have to be all of that for them. God can bring someone else in their life for this season who would better suit them and allow you to move on to bigger and better things. I'm just saying that is exactly what can happen. But I think it just depends on what you really want and what they really want out of the friendship and the relationship. Is it worth salvaging? Is it worth saving? If it is, then it's not going to be one-sided. It won't be one-sided. You'll have all parties will be working to save the relationship or the friendship or the, whatever it is, because it's what matters. But if it only matters to you, no, let it go. 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 I'm serious. Okay. Because at the end of the day, if you're holding on to something that no longer belongs to you, and, you're holding them back from moving forward because you're trying to be so loyal, or you're trying, same thing. While you're holding them back, they're holding you back. Y'all just gonna let it go. Ashley said, let it go. Let it. Seriously, I think you better let it go. Y'all, I've been up since really, really early this morning, and this weekend has been a lot. Your girl is drained right now, but I just wanted to share that with you because God has the right connections for you. God has the right relationships and friendships for you. And it's my godmom, whom I love so much. I love that woman so much. My godmom was talking to me a couple of months ago when I was really dealing with issues like this. And she was telling me, she said, how when you are in high school and you have those best friends, you have, best friends that you grow up with, and you think that y'all gonna be together for forever, right? You think that y'all gonna be together forever. Y'all gonna, be in each other's lives, children's lives, stuff like that. And then you get to college and you be like, you ain't talked to them in forever. Like you, and then the people that you meet in college, you think that y'all gonna be in each other's life forever. Now there are some relationships where you are, right? There are some relationships where you are in each other's life because those are destiny relationships. But then you have some friends in college where you think that you're gonna be together for forever. And a couple of years later, you're just like, I wonder what so-and-so is doing. I haven't talked to them in forever. Just like the Bible talks about how we go from faith to faith, glory to glory. We do go from relationship to relationship. It's okay. It's okay to go from being, and I ain't talking about, romantic relationship where you just hip hopping and hop around, doing all of that stuff. I'm not talking about that, but it's okay if, you gradually progress in your friendship areas and things like that. Let me see. Give me a second. Mateus, hello. Thank you. Mateus says, does depression make someone lose interest in you? The person I was dating is depressed. Will the interest come back when the depression subsides? Wow. Mateus, that's actually a great question. Thanks for joining in from YouTube. So many different feelings can make someone lose interest in you. Depression can, depending on the situation, depending on what the person is depressed about. Honestly, you said, will the interest come back when the depression subsides? It could, but my question to you is, will you still be around? Are you, and the thing is, this is one of those situations and scenarios. Again, thank you for that question. This is one of those situations and scenarios where it's like, if I'm going through this rough patch right now, if I'm dealing with this rough patch in this relationship or in this friendship, whatever it could be, is it worth it? Am I going to stick around? Am I going to be there for them? Am I going to pray for them? Am I going to, try to help them as much as I can? But let me tell you, while you are helping someone else, please don't forget, don't neglect your own self. Don't neglect your self-care. Don't neglect, because helping someone when they're going through a lot of stuff, it will take a toll on you mentally. It will take a toll on you spiritually. And it could make you feel like you're not good enough. It could make you feel like nothing that you do will be good enough for that person. And again, I can't say this enough. Let me go back to it. Realize who the real culprit is. Is it anger? Is it depression? Is it jealousy? Is it pride? Because sometimes people are, you know the saying, hurt people hurt people. When someone is dealing with so much pain, when someone is dealing with heartache and issues, or maybe they've been constantly rejected and they're just fed up. And so, maybe their attitude now has turned sour because they're just like, life just, the pandemic has made a lot of people feel hurt and pain. I mean, it's a lot that's, people have to deal with so many things, Let me see. People have to deal with so many things. And so when it comes to things like that, depending on your level of how close you already are, you said she's told me she doesn't feel like talking or going out to anyone. Then the other thing, let me bring it back. Respect space and feelings. Sometimes you need to give people their space. Sometimes you just really need, if she's in a space right now where she's like, I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to go out with anyone. I don't want to, whatever. Sometimes you just need to give people their space. And if you really, really, really are supposed to be together, I believe, okay, this is just Dr. C talking to you, okay, Mateus, this is just Dr. C talking to you. I believe that God would bring it back together if you're supposed to be together, okay? If, the thing is, what are you going to do in your waiting time? What are you going to do in your waiting time while you're waiting for that person to, while you're giving them space and you're waiting for them to kind of get themselves together? You're waiting for them to decide whether or not they want to be with you, or maybe it's not even about you. Maybe they're just seriously dealing with so many things. What are you going to do in the meantime? Are you going to start moping around? Are you going to become depressed, sad, angry, distraught? Or are you going to continue building yourself up? Are you going to continue becoming a better version of yourself so that you can continue to be strong while you are waiting? We talked about, I'm actually bringing that up because that was a great way to segue to that. Not something that I had planned on, but Project A Better Me, the construction zone. This is, I think it was last month, I gave a challenge to those of you who were attending the live. You were on live, and I said, listen, I want to challenge you to believe for better. I want to challenge you to believe that you will become better, and also that better is coming to you. And part of that challenge is listening to affirmations. Part of that challenge is, listening to affirmations or reciting affirmations on a consistent basis to where you build your faith. It's developing faith power, right? Ashley said, absolutely. That's what happened before my husband and I got married, and look at us now, almost married 8 years. Wow. Again, it just, while you are in your waiting period, what are you going to do? Work while you wait. Work on becoming a better version of yourself so that you have more to contribute to the newfound, to the newness in the relationship or the friendship, more to contribute than just, reminiscing about the way how things used to be. Okay. Prayerfully, Mateus, your girlfriend or the one who you were dating, prayerfully, she will get better. Prayerfully, she'll get better and she'll be exactly what you need and you'll be what she needs. Or God could have something better for you. Mateus said, I will work on myself, especially because if I'm not good with myself, because how am I supposed to support someone? Honey, ding, 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 boo. You already know it. Exactly. And sometimes, when you are in rough patches, I'm so glad you said that. Sometimes when we're in rough patches in relationships and friendships, it's hard for us to work on ourselves because we're feeling like we are rejected. We're feeling like we have some pain and pressure just coming from being disappointed, having unmet expectations. And that's the perfect time to take a step back and look from a different perspective, because it may, like I said, it may not be, like this case, where she's depressed, she's dealing with some issues, and you being there might not be the best thing for her at this moment. If she says she doesn't feel like going out with anyone, I respect your space. I'm going to give you space. And while you are giving her space, you also are respecting yourself, because you deserve better. I've just been on this thing about deserving better and getting what you deserve. You cannot get what you desire or what you deserve if you keep allowing anything to happen to you. If you just keep allowing anything and everything to happen to you, no, you will not get the best for you. And so the best thing for you to do is to work on yourself, improve yourself, become better. And that's what the Project A Better Me is for. That's, listening to those affirmations, reciting those affirmations, and then developing faith power, going for your dreams, reaching for your dreams in spite of what everything else looks like. And so as when rough patches come, tough it out. Decide, let me go back to it. When rough patches come, hold on, let me bring it back up here. The first thing you need to do is realize who the real culprit is. It's not the person. So many times, because we're human, so many times we get angry and we want to start fighting with the person. We want to, start these arguments, go back and forth with, arguing and all of that stuff. And it's really not necessary. It's really not necessary, because again, you never know what the person might be dealing with. You never know what the person, what situation or issue they may be facing. And so that's why I say, remember who the real culprit is. Is it anger? Is it hurt? Is it depression? Is it jealousy, pride, or loneliness? And by giving them that space, first of all, by knowing who the real culprit is, that should help you give them more space anyway, because you're like, okay, this is not you. I know you. This is not you. This is not who you are. You're dealing with something. And honestly, let me bring myself back up too. Sometimes it could be them. Maybe you're holding on to an old version of them. Maybe you're holding on to an outdated version of who they used to be. And you're still trying, you want them to be that person forever. But that's not what's going to happen, because you have to grow. You have to grow. And sometimes, unfortunately, when we grow, we expect for people to grow with us. We expect for people to grow together, and sometimes we grow apart. And it takes a mature person to be able to accept when that growing apart season happens. It does happen. And if you were too attached to what is no longer your assignment, if you're too attached to who is no longer assigned to your life, then again, you can miss out on God bringing the right people or the right one into your life. So, and then also to, again, know when to stay and know when to go. I can't say that one enough. Ashley had a comment up there earlier. I think it was also not just Ashley, it was Naturally Graced said, get out. Let me go back to that one. Said, get out when you can. She said, I had a long lasting friendship that turned semi-toxic because of loyalty. Listen, you have to know when to stay and when to go. And staying in a relationship or friendship that is toxic, or that is no longer for you, or that is one-sided. Because sometimes it's not even about being toxic, and sometimes it's not even about, about it being abusive. Sometimes it's just one-sided, and you deserve balance. There should be give and take in any type of relationship or friendship. And so if that's not what you're receiving, if that's not what you're getting, then honey, you have to know when to stay and when to go. Because again, every friendship and every relationship is not meant to go with you in your future. And I know that can be a hurtful thing to say, but it is necessary. Someone needs to know that. Someone needs to know that. So as you continue to grow, consider that maybe who you are connected to, whether it's romantic or whether it's, brotherly love, sisterly love, neighbor, whatever, best friend, family, honey, family. You have to ask yourself, is this relationship, is this person supposed to continue going on with me to the next part of my life? Or ask yourself, am I supposed to go with them into the next part of theirs? Because sometimes we can be holding people back from their level of greatness because we're trying to hold on to them, to the old version of them, of who they used to be. And it's unfair. It's unfair. So make sure that, and it's not like you can't make any new friends. Again, hello, be friendly. If you want new friends, be friendly. You never know the people. You never know the people who God will have for you if you just open yourself. You got to open yourself up. Okay. Let's see. I have more questions. Is it worth dating someone who needs their mom's permission to go out? She's 24 and her mom is controlling. She's the same depressed girl. 24. This is what I'm going to tell you. Do you think it's worth dating someone in this situation, in this condition? Because maybe, hear me out. Maybe she doesn't need you as a romantic partner or a boyfriend. Maybe she really needs you as a friend, someone who can, help come out of the situation that she's in. I mean, I'm not saying that you're her deliverer from depression, because I believe only God can do that, but maybe you can be a good influence on her. Maybe at this time, Ashley says, sounds like a nope. Okay. Maybe at this time, that's not the type of relationship that she needs. Maybe she needs a true friend. And if you can be honest with yourself and say, well, I'm not interested in her as a true friend. I'm really just interested in her because I like her. I'm digging her. I want to date her. Then you have your answer. No, let it go. Let it go until the time is right, or maybe God will bring somebody else in your life. Naturally Grace said, one-sided, say it louder for the people in the back. Yes, you got to have balance. Okay. If the friendship or the relationship is one-sided, meaning you're the one that's always calling, you're the one that's always texting. Y'all, I did something different this year. And I have to catch myself because I am always responding immediately when someone sends me a message. I am always calling. I said, nope, I'm not doing it anymore. 2021, I am actually going to do what someone accused me of and be selfish. I am actually going to do that. I've never been that type of, because I don't like for someone, if I'm calling you, if I'm messaging you, if I'm reaching out to you and you don't respond, I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. And so I always would send a text message back really quick. As soon as I get one, as soon as I get a message or whatever, I would respond, send quick responses. And I stopped. I said, 2021, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, which is so uncomfortable for me at this point. It is so uncomfortable because it's a habit that I have of responding immediately. I said, no, because I make it an urgency. I make responding, I put that as in the category of urgent. And I'm just like, there's so many other things that I have going on. Y'all, when I tell you I have a full life, but I would always stop what I'm doing so that I could check on someone else, reach out to someone else. And I said, this time I'm going to try something different by just not doing that. And it is so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. Even now, it's the month of May and it's still so uncomfortable. But I still have like 7 months to go. I'm gonna keep doing it. See how it goes. Okay, Matea said, I was thinking of being friends for now, but maybe in the future if she grows a spine. Honey, maybe. She might not grow a spine, boo. She might not grow a spine. And if she doesn't, the thing that you have to ask yourself is, will you be okay with that? Or are you going to be resentful later and say, well, I wasted my time on you? Because nobody wants to hear that. Okay. Nobody wants to hear. And let me tell you, I've had relationships, Mateus, where I thought that they were going to go somewhere and they did not. And I used to say, oh, I wasted time on you. And I had to realize, how would I feel if someone told me that they wasted time on me? I probably would have been like, and you did. But, we got to be careful with the words that we say. I don't believe that time is wasted. unless you're just standing at a microwave waiting for food. That's wasted time. Go do something else while you're waiting for that. But you have to ask yourself, am I going to say that I wasted my time by being your friend? Nobody wants to hear that. That's hurtful, you know? So either walk away or stay. But the thing is, you do have a choice. You do have a choice. Now, depending on the severity of depression, the level of depression, I would say that if your friend is in need of some serious help or some serious counsel, make sure you provide some resources for that, because depression is real. You hear me? Depression is real. And if you've never been depressed before, you probably wouldn't understand the severity of it. It really messes with your mind. You go into a dark place. It's very, very hard for you to get up, to move forward, to even think about, because you're stuck in your disappointment. You're stuck in whatever it is that you're thinking about at the time. And it can be a really, really, really painful place to be in. So consider that. Ashley said, when most don't have the response time. Yeah, Ashley, somebody sends you a message. Now, that's one thing I don't like. You be like, hey, how you doing? And or they respond like, 2 days later. First of all, if I send you a message and you're going to respond days or weeks or months later, that lets me know that you do not value my communication. You don't value our relationship enough, or our friendship enough. And after, there's only going to be but so many times over the years that I'm going to allow that to happen. And so I just stop. And you did. Each relationship causes us to grow, become mature, and gain wisdom. Well, some of them. Not some of them. Some sis. Some you did. You wasted time. But anyways, okay. So listen, this has been great. If you are in the place to where you're just like, look, I am trying to become a better version of myself. I'm trying to do the absolute best that I possibly can, because, I deserve better. I want to be better for someone, and I deserve better to come into my life. I would definitely say that you can join my free challenge. It's Project Better Me. It's literally a free challenge, y'all. The only thing is that you sign up to join the challenge, and you get my 100 affirmations. You get 100 daily affirmations sent directly to your inbox. And it's really, really worth it. You can go to this link right here, bit.ly, bit.ly/Project A Better Me. Sign up. You will get the affirmations sent right to you. And yeah, I really do believe that an affirmation a day can help you see what you say. I really believe that, like, when God gave me that, I was like, God, I want to say something really catchy or whatever when it comes to affirmations, because I just believe in the power of them. And, I was like, ooh, an affirmation a day can help you see what you say. Our words have power. Our words really do have power. And so if you want to see positive, you got to speak positively. It's not hard, right? Not rocket science. Let's see. Time isn't wasted. It could have been a hurtful time, but it was a growing time as well. That is also true. So listen, I do want to say thank you so much for tuning into today's Monday Motivation Let's Talk series. We're talking about rugged relationships. I invite you to connect with me on social media if you are tired of having lucrative ideas but have difficulty going from concept to creation. Also, if you want to harness the power of the leader within by becoming more confident, or maybe you just want to become a better communicator for your personal and or professional life. Every week, you will find encouragement right here to fuel your flames as you go after your goals. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next Monday. Bye.